UKSN, initialization protocol activated. UKSN, initialization protocol activated. UKSN, loading. UKSN, loading.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of UKSN Live. I'm your host Jay. I'm one of the UKSN admin. Along with a few other people, we thought it would be good to try and get an online broadcast in our new format. So here we go. Right, so first of all, I think the best thing for us to do is kind of explain to maybe some of you that aren't exactly familiar with what we do. The UKSN is a UK-based survival network that is designed to try and bring together the adventure community as well as the survival community, prepper community, and the outdoor adventure community. Now, lots of those share very similar kind of traits, and what we're looking to do is try and draw some connections between, try and share some knowledge, and possibly get some training involved. Now, we do also have an element that's purely based on survival, the fact that if anything goes untoward, there is any kind of incident or anything like that, we have a network of people in the survival community that will be able to help kind of bridge gap, past communications, and build that knowledge base across the entire UK. Okay, so what we've been doing, so building the network for the last year now. This is the first live episode of UKSN Live. We're just looking to try and stream everything. This will be available if you're watching after it's been closed, then obviously it will be available on YouTube shortly. If you come into the party a little bit late, that's absolutely fine. The full episode will be online shortly. Okay, so what I'd like to do first of all is just tell you a little bit about the UKSN. Obviously, we're run by a main admin team of 4 people. There we go. It's a bit like Rogue's Gallery here. As I said, my name's Jay Oliver. I'm one of the admins. We have, try and get this right. We have Glenn, who's Glenn Smith, who's kind of the founder and kind of lead. We have John Myerscroft, Little John. He's one of our admins for the North division, and then you have that way Scott, who's my counterpart in the southern area. Now we have different divisions that break down across the entire UK. So obviously head over to our website, www.survivalnetwork.co.uk, or you can head over to our Facebook group or our Facebook page, and you'll be able to get all the information about how the networks run and what people think about that. Okay, so now, just as a complete mindset, separate to everything else, one of the things that we've been looking at recently is a lot of online content. Now, this video that I'm about to show you kind of embody exactly what some of the things that I and Glenn, John, Scott do kind of support. Now, this is a video from we received online from Forest. This is a group of young children that are running around getting up in mischief, but they are doing what a lot of the youth today aren't doing. They're kind of getting outside, getting muddy, kind of experiencing the outdoors. That's one of the things that we're very keen on, is the fact that we like this kind of element where young people are being exposed to things that aren't Xboxes, PlayStations, or kind of Facebook or laptops, iPads. People need to go and experience the outdoors. Now, for us, this is a very important thing. Obviously, our main kind of all of our events that we're running, we are going to run, will be family friendly. This is one of the most important elements that we have here. We all have family, so children in the admin team. So for us, it's really, really important to be able to kind of make sure that we're bridging that, making it available to all ages. You can see the little monkeys there running around. This is someone with an elbow back. I want that back. Yeah, but okay. Muddy children, that's what it should be. Right, okay, so what we think we'll do now is, because it's the first episode, that would be quite nice to kind of catch up on kind of what's been going on in the news. So let's check out the first episode of UKSN News. Thank you very much and welcome to UKSN News. So, what's been going on in the news this week? We have been looking, the main story that's been going across the internet at the moment is the fact that most of London's communication network was brought to a grinding halt when President Obama made an attempt to visit London. Now, mobile phone communications, internet, Wi-Fi, and that was all disrupted because of President Obama's security detail. Now, a lot of this was all tied into the fact that his vehicle, his motorcade, has anti-jamming technology to stop laser-guided missiles. Now, this obviously wasn't explained to Londoners in the area, but was completely cut down on all of the communications as soon as his motorcade came into range. Obviously, President Obama said seven different inflammatory comments would be the word I would use. And personally, I think he should get back on the plane and go home. Right, so moving swiftly on, because I don't like talking about Dodgy Dave. The next thing that's been in the news quite a lot is the EU referendum. Now, the UKSN is a non-political organisation. We don't take sides. But obviously, it's in the news and it does affect our finances. So what we need to do is obviously be aware that everyone needs to have a say. Now, there are different opinions and different things. There's a lot of facts going back and forward. It's one of those things that, again, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Depends what you believe. Now, I'm not going to go into my personal preferences about whether we stay or whether we go. There's pros and cons with both sides of it. Obviously, it's something that's come up from a survival point of view because of the amount of financial implications the EU brings into the country. So whether we want to go it alone and potentially be threatened by the US. I'm talking to you, Obama. Now, if he wants to threaten the UK with trade sanctions, that's going to be an interesting one to swallow, and whether people will be scared by that to vote to stay in or not. Well, moving on to a lighter note, it was the Queen's birthday. Hey, Mom. We're looking at the 90 years old, one of the longest reigning British monarch, and obviously hymns, cupcakes, and party all round. Didn't get the day off work though, did we? Well, can't have everything. Obviously the Queen had a really interesting birthday. She was given a castle for her birthday. No gift vouchers here. So she's obviously enjoying that as much as possible. And obviously lots of public events and everything for people to celebrate her birthday. So once again, from UKSN, Your Majesty, happy birthday. And now we're moving on to the next story. Is basically about an environmental issue that keeps propping up all over the area. Now this is about fracking. Now fracking obviously is an environmental issue. UKSN isn't typically an environmental kind of group, but we do stand for obviously about things that could affect and have a survival issue. Now the reason I mention this is a video came to my attention a little while ago. Now I'm going to show you this video. I'm not going to say anything while it's playing. The audio speaks for itself, but have a look, and obviously this should interest you.
Maybe get the other one that's stuck. Jeez. Holy unbelievable! A river on fire! Don't let it burn the boat! Whoa! Oh! Sometimes a picture says 1,000 words. Have a look at this. The Condamine River in southwest Queensland on fire. The fracking just a kilometre away, methane coming up, and now the river is alight. Unbelievable. The most incredible thing I've seen, a tragedy in the Murray-Darling Basin. This is the future. of Australia if we do not stop the frackers who want to spread across all states and territories and do this to your community, to your environment. This is utterly unacceptable. It's been brought to you by Labor, Liberal and National parties who back the dirty frackers. Only the Greens think this is bloody crazy.
Well, I don't really know what to say apart from the following. The river was on fire. Fire, river, two normal kind of elements, totally void of each other. You use one to put the other one out. Yet, apparently, fracking is causing breaches in, and methane gas is being able to leak into local reservoirs and supply and water supplies. Now, this has been kind of a massive issue, especially water contamination issues ranging from Flint, Michigan in the US, where the water, I mean, you can't even treat that water. That water's disgusting. If you're interested, Google's always a thing. Right, and finally, we wanted to just obviously advise people that the UKSN is expanding. Our new paid memberships are available. You can check all the information out you need for that via our website, www.survivalnetwork.co.uk. Now, thank you very much. That was the news. Well, thank you very much, Jay. He's gone on that way. Right. Okay. So, as we're going through here, I say we'd like to talk a little bit about UKSN upcoming events. Now, I say we've got some events of our own in the pipeline, both in the north areas and in the south. We're constantly in a kind of process of trying to develop that. We've recently had our first kind of northern camp that was a real success. I'm really proud of what we did there. I would say it was a few of you turned up. Obviously, it's about quality, not quantity. Okay, it's fine. So what we'd like to do is just advise you of some national events that are ongoing. Obviously, our ones are still on the pipework, so these are going to be kind of national events that aren't run by the UKSN, but I'm hoping that UKSN will have a presence at. Okay, so the first one is the Bushcraft Show 2016. Now, this is going on between the 28th and 30th of May. This is one of the biggest events going through the Bushcraft calendar. There will be a lot of very famous kind of celebrities attending, including my friend Ray Mears. Yes, it's not my friend. He doesn't know who I am. The restraining order's still in effect. Right. Well, bless Ray. So he's going to be in attendance. He's going to be able to talk to people, and I think he's doing a couple of presentations. There's a number of events and stuff like that we can look at doing. All the details are on just Google the Bushcraft Show 2016. All the information will be up on there. Okay, so the next one is the Bushmoot Show. Now, this is run by Bushcraft UK. Just bringing up the information now. Right, so Bushmoot is on from the 1st to the 13th of August. It's a 12-day event that runs, you can stay for part of it, you can stay for all of it, but it has events covering absolutely everything that you could do with the outdoors and that kind of survival element. I'm looking through the list here at the moment, so we've got first aid courses being run, fire courses, basic axe skills, bow making, coastal hunting, gathering courses, how to tan hides if you're a hunter, survival tracking awareness, willow basket making. You can make a lot of things in this kind of thing. That's obviously just a small sample of what we have or what's going on at the event. Again, what I would suggest doing is if you either have a look on the UKSN events page, because all of these are listed, all the links and everything are in those sections there, or you can just use Google and Google Bushmoot 2016. And finally, the last one, the Wilderness Gathering. Now this is one I will be personally attending. Unfortunately, I'm busy for the other two. So this is I'd say a large kind of event based somewhere. I don't have the information to hand, but if you check our events page, it's all listed on there. This takes on between the 18th and 21st of August 2016. So at that point, what we'll say, I will be in attendance there, so I'd like to see as many UKSN hoodies, t-shirts, hats, baseball caps, bags, mugs, anything you can. If you can get yourself there, I'd say just attend, show a presence, even if you're the only one there, just walking around. It's like, obviously, people will notice, see what you might ask you, just point them towards the website, and then we can take it from there. Okay, so now on to our first topic of today. Now, trying to pick out some topics that people have been asking for. Thank you very much for all your suggestions. There were about 3. So what I've done is I've kind of rummaged through my list of projects that I've been looking at for a little while now. Now, one of the main things that we in the UKSN are trying to promote is network coordination between kind of different people. So what we're going to talk about is what we refer to as mutual assistance groups. Now this is also called MAGs, the MAG. Now it's an international recognised term, a MAG, and obviously basically simple enough put, it's a survival group. Now, your MAG could consist of family members, friends, acquaintances, or people just kind of that you're happen to be in a situation with. There's lots of different options. It could be a family. It could be a group of people you just end up kind of meeting or have similar goals. Or it could be an orchestrated, organised group like the UKSN. Now, what I'd like to do is just take you through some basics. Now, pretty much when I'm approaching someone in relation to a UK, possibly someone who might be interested in survival or anything like that, I tend to go through a kind of assessment, a mental assessment, have a look. And most people fall into 3 options. Now, the first one is someone who's approachable. So they are someone who would be potentially understanding to the point you're trying to make. You're then going to be looking to try and kind of see if they have similar kind of mindset to you, and see if they share any concerns or anything like that. That is quite an important kind of bridging, so you have something to talk about. Now, obviously, probing questions are always helpful. Or did you have your bank what bank are you with? You had the credit card problems. You had any problems recently? Kind of gets you on. How much cash how do you survive for that? Wow. Okay. So there's plenty of different options you can go through. Now, I'll say that's the first group, the approachable. Now, they're by far probably the easiest to deal with, because typically you'll know who they are. There'll be people that have typically outdoor experience, or potentially have voiced some opinions that maybe share the same kind of view as you, either politically, socially, or along those lines. Now, moving on to the next group, this would be the approachable during or after an event. Now, in my MAG, I have several people that were approachable. These are people that I've kind of set up, spoken to. They're aware of what's going on. They have a basic concept of kind of what I do and what we're doing with the UKSN. So what we would look to do at that point is to say you would have those as your main group. They're the ones you trust and rely. The next group would be the approachable during the event. Now, that's basically people that you believe would benefit your group, but they're not really approachable until something goes wrong. These are people that will often be in denial about anything going wrong, or would rely probably on government agencies and stuff to kind of cover their own backs and assume that nothing's going to go wrong. What we would look to do at that point is, if anything did go wrong, you could be waiting in the wings to offer them, come with us. We're going to be going off to this location where we know there's kind of supplies of food and stuff like that. One of those in my group, he's actually a paramedic. So I say he's not one that would be interested in prepping or survival. However, those skills would be very useful if anything was to go wrong. So bringing those people, they're kind of on the peripheries of what you're doing. And then finally, there's the last group, the unapproachable, people who are in complete denial that anything will ever go wrong. that survival element will not even kind of contemplate the idea of them not having hot water or electricity every single day of their lives. And obviously with them, there is going to be an element of potentially they know what you do. It gets a bit difficult because they might want to turn up and kind of obviously want to drain on your supplies that you may have put aside, or your equipment, or you want your help but not want to give anything in return. Now, obviously, that's an individual decision whether you want to look at going into kind of supporting other people or not. One of the things that I often do, if I can find it now, probably not, is I have packs. I have several of these. Now, this is based in an old Army surplus military first aid kit. Now, this is no first aid kit in there. However, you open it up, it has a portable stove with Hexi tablets fuel in there. It has magnesium fire starter, striker, and a ranger band. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a ranger band is, it's we use a bike inner tube typically, where if you have a puncture or something on the bike, keep the tube. What you do is you cut it into sections. It goes around things very easily, keeps everything intact, and also when you need to start a fire or anything, if you light this or a section of this, it'll burn a lot longer and a lot hotter than anything else. And also good for signalling. If you put it on there, you're going to get nice black smoke out of that. So don't ever start a fire in a small confined space with that. And finally, the other thing that I tend to include in this is pretty much my Bible, which is the Collins and Gem version of the SCS Survival Guide. So this book obviously isn't as good as someone being able to help you, but it will give you all of the information inside. It gives you diagrams. Let's see that. Diagrams inside of about everything. And if you're into survival at all, I would recommend that book. So those are what I often have to be able to hand out to people if necessary. Now that is kind of an interesting kind of concept. Do you help people or do you let them slide? Now that is very much up to your own individual circumstances. There's nothing you can do to say that you can't prep for everyone in the entire world. You don't have enough time, there's not enough resources, and it would take you 7 lifetimes to be able to do it. But what you can do is you can look at trying to prepare yourself and prepare kind of groups, packs for things, people around you. Now, so you've got those people in those 3 groups: the approachable after the event, and the non-approachable. Now, the non-approachable, I wouldn't waste your time with it. Obviously, your focus should be mainly on yourself and your existing mag group. So, with that, now, if you are looking at setting up a mag, if you are alone, if you maybe yourself and your family, you're the only one in your friendship group that is kind of into survival, prepping, adventure training, anything like that, looking to better yourself and make sure you have self-reliance or anything like that, then what you can do is you can head over to our forums. Now, our UKSN forum has a regional breakdown of sections. The entire UK is broken into different kind of areas based on the counties you're in. And the idea is it gives you the opportunity to kind of leave a message on there, maybe get in contact with other people that are in roughly the same area. And then obviously from there you can look at building connections, obviously building friendships, and obviously communication. So the idea is with that you can look at getting everything sorted. Now, that's essentially the mutual assistance group done. Now, one of the secrets that I've been looking to try and keep, and a lot of the admin guys have been wondering about this, is because in celebration of the first UK live event, we have a very big competition to run. Now, this is a bug out bag competition. Now, it is very much based on we wanted to try and make sure that we can make survival affordable for everyone. Now, in that lies, what we've been trying to do is look to try and put together a dream bug out bag on a budget. Now, there's been a lot of soul searching with this. There is a lot of issues between what equipment should be included, what you need, what you don't need, what you want. It's very difficult to try and get that balance. So I think one bug out bag to try and kind of to suit everyone wouldn't be effective. You need to be on an individual basis. So what we would do is we have some equipment here. Some of this has been provided, some of this has been donated, and some of it is stuff that the admins have kind of put aside for the competition. And what I'm just going to do is talk you through what we have in the kit and what we will have set up for you. Okay, so first of all, we want to talk about one of the most important elements of a bug-out bag. Now, lots of people say, oh, it's a knife, it's a knife. No, I understand it is very high up on the list, but it's not in this case. What I will do, let's say we're looking at the basic of any bug-out bag, is the bag itself. Right, okay. Now, this is a wonderful bit of kit. This has been donated by Hans, one of the guys who runs One Tigress. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with One Tigress, they're an amazing company. I trust them complicitly with any of their gear. The reason for that being is my EDC is a slightly smaller version of this. Now, EDC obviously is the everyday carry pack. It's a pack that I take with me everywhere I go, and I'd say I put my gear through so much abuse, it's unreal. What I would recommend is if you're looking to try and purchase some survival equipment, I'm not just saying this because he's donated a bag. I told him we would be giving the bag away, but what I would recommend is checking out the website here. This is onetigress.com. It is a US-based company, so it is a US-based site, but they do sell stuff through their Amazon store. So it is a very interesting kind of. He's got a lot of different products on there, ranging from MOLLE compatible packs to hip packs. Everything you could possibly think of is on there. And one of the other things that I do really like is the fact that he does include items for dogs. My dog, as I only have a small dog, but I have one of the One Tigress dog leashes. Amazingly tough and rugged kit. Really is kind of really good to work on. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm just going to talk you through all the items that I have in this. Now, this doesn't cover all of the elements of survival before anyone says, oh, no, you didn't include this, you didn't include that. We haven't included some of the items for this. Obviously, this is stuff that obviously we would recommend, products we would recommend, and what I'm looking at here is at the end of this video, we'll give you some information on competition, how to win this. Basically, what we're going to do is everything you see come out of this kit is going to go straight back in it, and then someone will win the full kit. Okay, there's a lot of stuff in here, well over 200 quid's worth of gear in here. So without any further delay, I don't want you guys sitting there drooling about it. Okay, so things that I like about the kit: all the handles reinforced. I do like the strap down pack. You've got lots of different kit options for strapping all this down, but you do have this section at the front, which I do really like, because you can put a lot of stuff in there that wouldn't fit in the bag. Shelter, maybe a tent, that can all go in there without any problems. You've got a zip section on the front, large Velcro. For those of you that know the UKSN as well as you do, gotta bling it out. So this bag, I mean, I would literally side pockets, MOLLE on the side there, very comfortable, vented back piece, so make sure that your back doesn't get too hot and sweaty. It's about 34 litre capacity. Retails for about £50 on the Amazon site. Again, the main website is a US one, so it does display it in dollars, but I would recommend just typing in One Tigress into Amazon, and you'll see everything pop up on the list on there. Right, okay, so the kit. Right, so as I said, I spoke earlier on about what elements people would like to see and stuff like that, and someone mentioned first aid. Now, obviously, I'm not a medic, I'm not trained or anything like that. I've had emergency training when I was with the police force, so I'm an emergency kind of responder, but obviously the training that I have now was close to 10 years ago now, so I'm going to say slightly out of date. Work, health and safety and first aid courses are pretty much all I've been kind of going on since. It is something that I'm working on. But what we look to do, any bug out bag, should have first aid kit. So this is a Summit first aid kit. Nice solid bit of kit. Let's say small, enough to cover your basics. It isn't really what I would call a trauma kit, but you're not looking for that. As I said, wouldn't have everything in here. We're trying to cut down and keep the weight as low as possible. So we have survival first aid kit. It's the first thing. Right. Container, one of the 5 C's. This is a clean canteen stainless steel water bottle. Basically, the reason that I always go with these is there's a number of kind of thoughts behind these. These are solid stainless steel, top's plastic, so it just means not insulate, kind of doesn't have any plastic inside or anything like that. So it means that you can put this in a fire, build all of the fire around and purify an entire bottle of water at one hit. The other thing that we're going to include with this is a little added extra that doesn't normally come with it. This looks like a fish, but what we do is we use it, you stretch it out, and it turns into one of these. Now, you're thinking, Jay, what's that for? There you go. Now you can hang that over your fire, and it works. It swings, it can just allows you to be able to transport that, and then obviously boil water hanging over without having to worry about touching the actual bottle that could finally be touching to it. So this is container, but you can also purify water in it. It's the reason I go for that. The other thing is I always go for the 1 litre versions. The reason I go for the 1 litre versions is because if I'm using water purification tablets or anything like that, obviously they work in a 1 litre size. So I'm maximising the amount of water that I can purify in one of those tablets. If I only had a 700 millilitre bottle, I wouldn't be maximising the amount of purification I could do. So, those 2 items cover your water use. These little things, really helpful. You can pick them up. So that's going down there. Right. Now, every kit needs a knife. Now what we're looking at here, we've got Amora, and I can already hear, it from here, the moaning going, Jay, it's Amora. Yes, it's Amora, but you're not going to get a better knife than one of these. For the cost, for the price, that's absolutely perfect for any kind of small bushcraft work you're going to do. This is a Laplander, Barco. So let's say retails about 14 quid. You can pick them up from anywhere and everywhere. But again, that is perfectly acceptable for smaller items. So that's definitely going in your kit. Now, for those of you that enjoy kind of looking at kind of knives a little bit more, we have got something extra in the bag for you. Now, for those of you that are familiar, this is a Gerber Strong Arm. Now, Gerber are a very, very reliable knife maker. I have several of their kits. One of the knives I've used the most is the Gerber LMF2. It's like one of the high-ranking knives. So, what we have here, Gerber Strong Arm. This is a fixed blade knife, survival, full grip handle, nice. You've got a partly serrated blade. Very, very useful bit of kit. But one of the things I like about this is because it's full tang. You know you're not going to be messing around with it. You're not going to worry about it breaking or anything like that. But one of the things that I do like about this is the innovative sheath. Now, the sheath looks a little bit unusual. Looks a little bit like I've seen bayonet sheaths similar to this. Now, what they've done is they've made it so this is actually completely adjustable. So you can unpopper it, take it clean out, so you can disconnect both halves. So this is the actual plastic sheath. Now you can take this piece clean out. That's a connecting rod that goes in underneath that, which means this section can come clean off. Now, if I was going to attach this to molly webbing, you can just slide that back in as you're going through the molly webbing, and it will lock it in place. So you can have it attached to a vest or anything up here, you can have it on your waist. Now, that's essentially what this part is for. Let's take this out quick. Okay. Very simple to put in. Basically just slide that in. There you go, to connect it. So what they've done is given you this with the 2 belt loops here, so you can have this mounted either on the side of your waist or on the small of your back. And obviously when you look at the blade, it can be fitted ambidextrously, so you can flip it both ways. Obviously it does not come out at all, but as I say, for the cost, this retails about £65. So for the cost of this, you're not really getting you're going to get a better knife for the cost of that. I do find, so I'd put my life in the hands of this. I know because I donated it. So we had this. It was, never been used, but it was one of the items that was donated to me. Do some testing. Never got around to the testing, so I thought I'd include it. So that's your main knife, and then you've got your smaller knife for smaller work. Right. Moving over there. It's almost 10 o'clock news. Okay. So the other thing I'm going to look at, slightly larger item. Now, for those of you that are familiar, or know me, you know a lot of the kit that I have from a cooking point of view is Pathfinder gear, which is basically made and designed by Dave Canterbury. This stuff's typically available from Henny's. What we're looking to do is looking to try and give you a little bit of an insight into this. Now, this is one of the larger kits. In a minute, I'll show you one of the smaller ones, but this is going into the bag, so this will be part of the competition as well as the other items, the knives, first aid kit, and the bottle. So, large billy tin comes off. You've got the freestanding stove with vent holes. Nice and simple. It's a large item. It does have a lip on the side as well. See, I can feel John looking at me. He's very jealous that I got this stuff, and you can see it's all marked up with the Pathfinder logo. I don't know if you guys made that out on the camera. There you go. So it's to say this is all legitimate stuff. It's all been purchased through the original sources. So this has handles as well. See, suddenly you can boil a large amount of water in a very small space. And obviously, because it all packs into itself, you can obviously pack it in the bag as well. You can fit some stuff in there as well. Normally what I would be doing, putting food inside, and if you need to use it, you can take food out, use it. Right, so that's going to be included. Now, what I was looking at here, on the pack itself, there is a big section in the front here. Now, when you zip that, you can open it. Now, these, I'm just going to go through these quickly because they are a number of items. They're pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to go too much details. So what we've got in there is a Zippo cedar wood fire starting puck. Now, if you've ever had any experience with these, really, really helpful. They easily break into 4 pieces. You set fire to it with a match and it'll burn for quite a significant amount of time. I normally use it when I'm having a barbecue. Don't really set too many fires out here. What we are including is a Webtex survival kit. Now this is a brand new survival kit, so it's got all of the gear inside, all the instructions. So that covers your matches, your pens, your wire saw, your rope, your whistle, everything like that. So that is your survival kit covered. So that's going to be included as well. But wait, there's more. Now, one of the most important things in there is a torch. Now, this is a Gerber cornea. Now, this is one of the important things I always do when I'm looking at this. Again, Gerber, trusted brand. This works off 2 AA batteries. Now, the reason I've gone with that in this is because if anything goes wrong, the chances of you coming across one of like the Surefire torch batteries, CR123, if you try and come across one of those, chances are you're not going to find it. However, every convenience store, newsagent, supermarket, everything like that will have AA batteries. So obviously I've gone with the option that you're going to be able to power for the longest. So it is adjustable, it is very, very bright, and it was very, very effective. Hard aluminiumized body, can take a few knocks. Always good that your stuff can take a knock. Okay, so finally, what we've got here is a few smaller items that I've put into a leather container. Now, this is just basically just to keep it. These are smaller items. So what we've done, included a Primus fire ferro rod. Very, very good bit of kit. I've got several of these in my kit. I literally I think it's good for about 12,000 strikes, I think. What we've also included, I think this is a Lansky. Yes, Lansky. Sorry, at a moment then. So we've got a Lansky sharpener. Now, the reason I tend to include these is because, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up on the camera. Probably not. But you've got different sides. So I've got smooth side here, but on this side there is a channel running down the middle. Now, the reason I like that is because if you want to, say, make a fishing hook, something like that, you can use whatever you're using down the channel and it can actually find a point without having to keep rotating it the whole time and doing it on a flat surface. But obviously, you need to make sure your knives are sharp to do it, so knife sharpener needs to be included. What I'm looking at now, a few other items. Okay, so I include 2 EDC fire kits. Now, these are the refill kits. So in there you have got some twine that's been impregnated with different fire starting materials. You've got a couple of Matt Striker stickers there, and you've got some vials with magnesium in there as well. So you should be able to get this all sorted. Okay, and finally, for when everything else runs out, what we're going to do is we're going to include a fire steel. Now, this is tempered, so you can hit it off a rock or a piece of flint and get the sparks going that way. So what we're trying to do is trying to give you as many options to start fire as possible. So you've got kind of matches in this sort of thing. You've got additional match stickers in there. You've got jute for tinder. You've got magnesium. You've got fire steel. You've got a ferro rod. You've got a knife, so you can cut yourself a bow drill kit. All of that is to say that is all included. So I'm not going to bother really putting this all away, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap exactly what you're getting in this competition, because it is by far the largest competition that we're doing in the UKSN, and I'm really proud that we're able to put it together. So, the Pathfinder Billy Tin and Stove. That's going in. It's a shame because I wanted to keep that. First aid kit, really important. So, covers your basics. Clean canteen stainless steel water bottle. It's going to store your water. You've got the Zippo puck for the fire starting. You've got your ferro rod, your sharpener, 2 EDC kits. You've got the leather bag it all came in. Well, throw that in. And we've got the steel striker as well. So that's your fire kit and everything in there, well and truly sorted. You have got a WebTech survival kit as well, which covers all of the basics. You've got the Gerber Cornea torch. Still going. We've got the Gerber strong arm. That's going to say that's one of the main items you need for the kit, and one of the reasons that we chose to include this is because of the MOLLE compatibility with the sheath that can fit on the outside of the bag if need be, so you can attach it anywhere on here without having to have anything extra, because the connectors can get that. So the Gerber's going in there as well. You've got the Mora. I can see on the comments here, I am reading the comments as they're coming through. I can see that obviously lots of people are agreeing, nothing wrong with Moras. Kev, yeah, absolutely, mate. Would you trust your life with it? No, I don't know, but I'll say if the best survival knife is the one you have on you, say if it's one of those, you're going to be a lot better off than anything else. Right, okay, so that's the material from the rest of the sheath. You're also going to have that. We're going to throw that in as well. Okay, so everything taken care of. That's all in there. The bag, brand new, still got the tags on it from One Tigress. What we're just going to do So I would check out their website, have a look. If you want some gear, there are some really good gear. The competition's being sponsored by them because they have donated the bag. And as far as I'm concerned, knife and bag are the two most important things, because if you can't carry things, there's no point having a kit. Right, so how to win this? Very simple. It's probably going to be the most simple competition you're ever going to take part in. What you need to do is you head over to our website, which is www.survivalnetwork.co.uk. It's plastered over everything. It's up above. It's links all over the place. And what you need to do is you head over to our forum. The link's on the main website, and then sign up to the forum, and there is a competition section in there. The only thing you need to do is tell me the name of the bag, the manufacturer. Now, I've already mentioned it enough times, I'm not going to mention it again. But as I say, all you need to do is reply to the post that's going to be on there shortly, just saying to them, all you need to do is that one reply. The winner will be picked in 2 weeks. Obviously, what we'll then do is we will do the full competition. I'd like to see as many people on there, so we are going to mention this on our Facebook group as well. And we're also going to mention it on our Facebook page as well. So all of that's been mentioned through. Now, I say all you need to do with that is just put the comment on there. Anyone who is one of our SN1 members automatically gets entered. Now, if you're an SN1 member and you want to double your chances of winning, head over, put your name on the account, on the competition post as well. Because what we'll do is we will then give you 2 chances of winning. Now, if anyone is watching that isn't an SN1 member, SN1 is our premium group. Membership fees you can cost £15 and £30 depending on the different deals. So say head over to, if you're having a look on here, we've got a video on our YouTube channel explaining all of the membership levels and stuff like that. But obviously one of the prime things that I'm referring to now is the fact of, as an SN1 member, you get entered into all of our competitions. So what we would look at that, say anyone who's an SN1 member, will also, if you want to enter the competition as well, that's fine, but you've already got 1 entry in there as well. So double your chances if you're an SN1 member. Right, okay, so that competition being done now, I want to move on to our next topic. So we're coming up on the 55-minute mark now, so I'm a little bit cautious about time. What I want to do is, I just want to mention that obviously movies and TV shows are becoming more and more popular. Survival is becoming more and more of an issue. Post-apocalyptic TV shows and such are becoming fast and furiously a massive thing that people obviously are really interested in. Now, what I want to do is I want to be able to recommend you a couple of things. I'm going to try and recommend you 1 movie, 1 TV show. They're going to be for entertainment purposes with the survival element as well. But then what I also want to do is recommend you 1 book and 1 YouTube channel. Now, the reason I'm doing that is the film and the TV show, obviously you can follow your reality TV, survival TV shows until you're blue in the face. I'm thinking that, say, a lot of the time I'm going to include some entertainment elements as well. The next show that we do in a month, I might flip it around, give you a book for entertainment or something like that. We're trying to mix them up. So the TV show I would recommend is one called Jericho. Now, those in the survival community know of it because it's quite highly respected in that. It's the story of the US after 23 nuclear bombs detonate across 23 individual cities, bringing the entire US into complete disarray. The reason I like the show is it touches subjects that potentially you wouldn't normally look at kind of approaching it in a TV show like this. Like if you did like an alien invasion or a kind of like a Walking Dead series or something like that, they tend to touch on survival elements, but they don't go into it as much detail. With this, they talk about kind of nuclear fallout, elements of kind of roving gangs, and how to deal with aggressors, securing borders. All these kind of elements come in. There are 2 seasons. So the first one is longer than the second one. Unfortunately, it was the the funding was cut after these halfway through the second season, so it kind of wrapped up after 6 episodes. There is a comic that the show's built on that obviously does go further on. So it's like if you watch the TV show, if you really like it, then obviously you can go watch season 2. If you're really not finished with it at that point, there is the comic, which obviously does expand further into the universe that it covers. Okay, so that's Jericho. That's to say, it's a US-based TV show. It's available on Netflix. It's you can get it on iTunes. And it's available on DVD in the UK as well because I own it. The movie I would recommend is called The Road. I believe it was 2009. Covers the story of Hugo Mortensen and his son travelling across a desolated United States. Again, seeing a theme here. So what happened in that is it's all about how the son and the father survive and try to get to the coast because they believe that the coast is going to be better for them to survive at. That's, I say, absolutely perfect. But the one thing I like about this is you never know what the event is. You know that a massive post-apocalyptic event occurred, but you have no clue as to what it was. You can sit there and look at it. It covers different elements. There's a lot of emotional elements with the son. He's obviously been born into this world whilst his father was obviously from the world previous. So there's a lot of kind of interaction where the kid isn't fully aware of kind of things from the real world. A can of Coke is a prime example I'm thinking of here. He was given a can of Coke and the child had never had that before. What we're looking to do here is obviously, I say, just trying to recommend you some films. So check out The Road and Jericho. Now, books. Now, there is a book. Let's see if we can find. I'm trying to think of. Typical. I don't have all of the information to hand. The one thing I forget is upstairs at the moment. Okay. I'm getting comments coming back through. Scott, I don't really care if the kid irritates you. The kid's a kid. He's innocent. He's the only innocent person there because he was born after the event. Right, okay. Sorry about the delay. Right, okay. So, Jane, the book is How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It. I'm just going to flash that up there. Okay, now, I did this I recommended this on the Facebook mentions. It is written by a person, James Wesley Rawls. He is a ex-US intelligence officer who obviously has taken his intelligence training and such and spreads it into a survival kind of element. Now, the book is very grounded in reality, but it is one that I read and was initially kind of completely blown away by it. I was recommended by one of my friends who was a prepper. Basically what we look to do is say it goes through all of the information. It was the first time that I ever realised that food reordering in shops and stuff like that only had 3 days worth of supplies. So what we have there is a very, very good book that I would recommend. UKSN Book Club. If people are struggling and stuff like that, give me a shout. I'll be able to hook you up with some supplies of that. If you have a Kindle, you can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Amazon. Lots of different places you can go there. And then finally, the YouTube channel. As I said, I want to try and provide you with 2 entertainment elements as well as 2 knowledge-based. The book is knowledge-based. The YouTube channel is knowledge-based as well. Now, this is Primitive Technology. Now, I will put a link in the details below. If you're a member of the Facebook group, you would have seen the videos that we've been posting. And the guy that, I don't know if you've watched any of the videos where he builds a hut from complete scratch. He builds a dome hut with leaves on the outside. Then he slowly upgrades each element, even to the point where he's making his own tiles and is able to bake pots and make his own charcoal and stuff like that. And each video is really informative, as well as kind of based in 100% of reality rather than anything else. and obviously it's interesting for us to see all of his equipment and see kind of how he makes things. So he's making the tools that he would need to do the task first. Really, really helpful to see that. I'll put a link of all the details in the section below. Okay guys, well I think we've kind of come to the end. We're running at 1 hour and 2 minutes now. I think you've heard me rattle on enough. What we're going to do now is we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the first UKSN Live. We're going to try and do this on a monthly basis, so this has been a little bit rushed together at the last minute. I want to thank Glenn primarily, because he's the one that's got me into all the gear, the system that allows us to do all this broadcasting. I was very low tech with Facebook mentions. It was a mobile phone and me. Now obviously we're running a little bit better here. So first of all, I want to thank him. I want to thank all the other admins for all their efforts, and I want to thank all of you, all the members that are actually kind of making the UKSN what it is. If you have any questions, comments, don't hesitate. Pop them in the section down below, or come join us on the Facebook group and have a look on the forums and the website. Okay guys, well it's been a pleasure. I look forward to hearing from you soon.